Hey guys, today on Dad Projects I'm building these hanging planter boxes. Now with this style of fencing, I don't have a beam that I could attach the planters to, so I'm going to use a piece of 2x6 to support the weight of the planters. I started by measuring and cutting a piece of pressure treated 2x6. Don't be afraid to cut it long and trim it down little by little. To secure the 2x6 in place, I cut a piece of scrap 2x4 to the right height and screwed it in place first. This will act as a third hand. Once the beam is leveled, I use my framing nailer to secure it in place. If you're going to use screws, be sure to drill pilot holes first. This will make it a lot easier to get the screws going. For the planter boxes, I'm using cedar, which is naturally rot resistant and only costs about $1 more for each plank versus using Douglas fir. I'm building my planters to be 18 inches long, and one plank is about enough to build one box. I ended up using 3 planter boxes for each section, and I did make a few mistakes along the way, so buy an extra plank or two. I cut 6 sides at 18 inches, then 6 end pieces at 6.5 inches. Then I cut 3 bottom plates at 16.5 inches. After that, I mitered all the edges at a 45-degree angle, except for the bottom plates. Now for the assembly, I'm using Titan Bond 3, which is a waterproof wood glue, and brad nails to secure it in place. I let the glue cure overnight and then got back to it the next day. The wood planks are pretty rough, so I sanded them down over with 80 grit, then went over them again with 150 grit. I'm using tung oil to coat the boxes. Now tung oil is safe around food and it gives the wood a nice warm color. I'm going to be using the French Cleats system to attach the planter boxes to the beam. To make the cleats, I ripped a piece of 1x3 cedar right down the middle at a 45-degree angle. I drilled pilot holes through the cleats. Then using wood glue, I screwed the cleats to the back of the planters. I marked and measured the center of the beam and attached the opposing side of the cleat in the same way. I used a brad nail to keep it in place while I leveled it off. One thing I forgot to add in this video is a spacer underneath the cleat. This will help keep the planter box from sagging. I added one to each planter box after I was done. I've had a tough time keeping slugs out of my garden, and they love to chew on my bell pepper plants. They haven't grown much at all since I planted them 6 weeks ago, so I decided to uproot them and replant in my new planter boxes. I'm curious to see if these are going to make a comeback and bear fruit this year. Now these planter boxes only weigh about 7 pounds after watering them, and what I love about the French cleat system is that it's really easy to just pick them up whenever the weather turns bad.